Brooksaw Antiques here. Today we have this 1967 Hermes 3000 vintage portable typewriter, the best of the best. I'm going to show you how to use the functions and make sure they all work. Up top is the adjustable paper guide. This helps you guide the page in straight. I'm going to line this up with the edge of the platen, which is the main roller that feeds the paper. Behind that is the paper support arm that flips up. And this is the paper bale that sits on top. It's got two adjustable rollers and a scale on front here. And the margins are set from the sides. Right now we have that left margin right on the edge, but if you want it closer to the middle, you go to where you want it. And then you push in this lever up like that. And it sends that margin to that spot you're at. And it also will show you the margin with this red indicator here on the paper bale on each side. Say you want it closer to the left edge. So I'm going to push the carriage release and the margin at the same time until I get to the spot I want it at, and then let it go. So now it's all the way on the edge where I want it. Same concept with the right. So this is the lever that you need to push for the margin. This is your carriage release. So I'm gonna push the carriage release and the margin at the same time, and it'll allow me to push it all the way out to the edge. So I'm gonna put it pretty close to that edge, and you can see it on the paper bale up here. The red area is where that margin is. Okay. Once you hear the bell, you're at the end of the margin. You hit this line space, gets you back to the beginning, and skips 1, 1.5, or 2 spaces. Right now we have it on single, but if you want 1.5, you just flip that switch forward, it skips 1.5, forward 1 more, it skips 2. We're gonna keep that on single for now. And I was able to type all the keys on the keyboard because this has Elite typeface, which prints 12 characters per inch. On one line I was able to do that because it's smaller font, versus the Pico, which prints 10 characters per inch. So on this next line, I'm gonna switch the color to red by switching this all the way up to that red indicator there. Prints the bottom portion of the ribbon. When you have it on the yellow, it prints both red and black, so it prints the middle of the ribbon. When you have it down to the blue, it prints the top portion of the ribbon. When you have it all the way down, it doesn't print any ink at all. It just leaves a stencil for copying purposes. So we're gonna move that all the way up to the red. This typewriter gives me goosebumps when I type on it. Just everything is flawless about it. It's in excellent condition. The best typewriter ever made, even maybe for electric and manual. The Hermes 3000, the best of the best. This is the third one I've had, and every single time I just love it. The look of it, I love the green keys, the feel of it, the sound of it. Everything is just so smooth and amazing. It's just euphoria. By the way, these knobs on the originals were broken off. This whole left side was all the way broken off, and the right one was just cracked. So I replaced them both with 3D printed design that I created and painted to get it close to that color as possible. It's not the exact same color as this back one. This back one is much lighter than the original knobs. But this knob that's been 3D printed and painted is very close to the keys and the original knobs. Both sides have them. Very, very nice. I'm very proud of that design. So if you need them, I have them in my shop. To pull the page out easier, there's a switch on the right side here. Flip it forward and it unlocks the rollers underneath the platen, allowing you to pull the page out easier or load thicker paper like carbon copy or cardstock. Make sure you flip that back before you load the next page or else it won't load correctly. We're going to put this down and we're going to put the color back on blue. So that middle one will print both. It leaves an ink that looks kind of messy, so I don't know why they even have that. Most typewriters don't have that. I guess it's just an extra function, but I'm just going to keep that on blue so it prints the black ink. Shift on each side and a shift lock on the left. To clear that, just hit the shift button again. Backspace on the top left, very smooth. Tab set on the top middle. Right now we should have a few tabs set, so I'm going to go to each one of them. The harder you press the tab button on the right side here, the more drag there is, the slower it'll drag. If you don't hit it as hard, it goes a lot faster. So depending on how fast you want that to move is how hard you push that tab button. We're going to clear all tabs by hitting all clear, and I'm going to test that again. It just goes all the way to the end. So now I want to set one in the middle, tab set, and I like to always set them in the middle so that way when you do hit the tab button, it doesn't go slamming all the way to the end, causing wear and tear in your typewriter. And to clear that specific tab, there's a button in the middle called tab clear, and now we're going to go all the way to the end. And we don't have any tab set, we're going to set it again in the middle. Okay, so that's done. Another cool function, I have never seen this on a typewriter. This key right here is the male and female symbols. I don't know why that's there, but that's pretty cool. And what else do we have on the keyboard? Margin release is on the right side of the top next to the tabs. So you get to the end of the margin, there's a mechanism that won't let it print. If you hit that margin release, it'll allow you to go all the way to the end. That works good. We're gonna pop off the hood by popping the back off first, and all the brand new ribbons loaded on this left side, so it's pulling to the right. And if you want to switch that direction, you just flip the holder here that holds the ribbon to the opposite direction. It'll pull to the opposite direction. We want it to keep that pulling to the right, so we're just gonna. So if you flip it down, it'll pull to the left counterclockwise. Flip it up, it'll pull clockwise to the right. And this is your touch control. It shows the indicator here on the spool cover here. The higher up you go, the more tension there is when you hit the keys. They don't, you do have to hit them harder, but they respond faster. So for faster typers that like to mash the keys real fast, that's the touch control. The farther down you go, the less tension there is. You don't have to hit them as hard. And they do, it prints almost like a computer instead of having to hit them so hard. That's how I like it. So we're gonna put this on with the latches in front. These latches in front go in first, behind the edge there, and make sure that you have these two levers in position, and then it just pops in like that from the back. On the right side, like I showed you earlier, here is the carriage release. You cannot get any smoother than that, no matter what you do on any typewriter. This is as smooth as it gets, and when you return it, there's no sound whatsoever. It's like butter. The smoothest typewriter in the game. Best all around. Everything about it is just perfect. This is the carriage lock. You push it down in the middle, it'll lock the carriage in the middle, and you push it down again and move the carriage to get it to unlock. And here's the carriage release on this side. Same amount of smoothness, no sound at all. Very smooth. And the last two things is, if you pull out this knob, it'll disable the spacing so you can get to an exact spot on the page. You push it in, you get the clicks. Each one of those clicks is a half a spacing. Same concept. If you move this all the way back, it disables the spacing. You move it forward, you get those clicks again. And that's it. Now available on eBay or Etsy. Search Brooksaw Antiques.